All right.
What is going on?
Are we here? Are we actually live? Did it work? Who knows?
Let's make sure my mic's on. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yes, your
What's
mic is
going on, everybody, man? It's been too long since we've been on camera. How's it going, Rich?
Oh, doing good. Long day. And so good night, though. Good night to be back. Good to see you. How you feeling?
Pretty good. As you guys can see, I will take my glasses off and show the progress. I don't even know how long it was. How long was it that I actually
I think it's
got
been
my surgery?
Oh, no, it's been around 3
I know
weeks.
It looked pretty bad, but it was a hell of a lot worse. So we're getting there. We're recovering. I'm just sharing this out. I hope you guys are sharing this out.
Yeah. Hello, Glaze. Hello, Gail. Hello, Misbehaving. Civil, how you doing?
I'm checking Just Jake. See, we're not on Total News Network.
Yes.
Only on Periscope. So let me explain that for everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Vantage Point and Total News Network. So tonight, what we're doing here, as you know, we don't know how long we're going to be on Twitter and Periscope, which many know that Twitter owns Periscope and Jack Dorsey owns all of it. So we don't know how long we're going to be. So what we need everybody to do from Just Jake, Total News Network, USA, if you watch it on Periscope, please go over to YouTube, DLive or Twitch, but specifically YouTube, if you have a YouTube account, and subscribe over there. That's why right now, tonight, we're live on Total News Network, but live on Vantage Point on YouTube, DLive, and Twitch.
Yes.
So,
and hello, Candy, how you doing? And Milo 12, hope you're doing well. Yeah. So, yeah, if nothing else hit alerts, and those who have seen the show before will be happy to know there's a new outro because Jake always made fun of the spinning broccoli that I had on there. So there's going to be a new outro. So yeah, Bugs 1, check out the outro at the end of it. If nothing else, watch it once because it took me a long time to do, and as bad as it is, as bad as I am making them, it just takes a long time. But anyway,
you guys are gonna love it. The outro is really cool, man. Rich did work on that thing. I was starting to worry. I thought maybe somebody kidnapped him, but he locked himself in his graphics room and just like spent. It came out really good. It's really funny.
Man, once you mess up on that Etch-a-Sketch, man, you got to like go back and do the whole thing over. So yeah, it's tough.
Also, I probably have a lot of echo going on right now. I'm at a different location than normal, and it's like totally echo in here. It reminds me actually of Mike Closer. I don't know. Some people call them the C loser or something. They used to dog that guy, but he used to have this horrible like echo. But yeah, so just ignore that.
So Genuine 17 talking about she got muted for an hour just for saying Trump 22 back to blue. So yeah, that's the kind of crap that we're talking about. I mean, there's no remedy on it. You can't really do anything about it. So yeah.
Okay, so they're saying sounds fine. No echo.
Yeah.
See how I did that? That was pretty good. So for those of you who don't know, and you've been subscribing and following for the last crazy, couple of weeks, this is my boy Rich. I've been telling you about. This is the page that shall not be mentioned. Vantage Point. Unfortunately, two things. Fortunately, we're getting so popular and we're getting the word out. Unfortunately, the left-wing misfits were mass reporting that page. And so I had to keep taking the videos down. And then I finally said, let me just keep going live on Total News Network. But now we're back. There's so many people doing it. Shout out to Steve, Freight Broker on Facebook. I think he's on YouTube too. Really good patriot. On Tuesdays, he raises a bunch of money for the police, and all the money goes to that. And apparently they got some crap. This is why I hate Facebook. Apparently they have something where you can give stars now. just
Oh,
like
really?
Periscope. Yeah, you got to buy a bunch of stars. And apparently he's like missing a bunch of stars because they took down one of his videos. So fuck Facebook. Oh, sorry. There I go. See, I'm not supposed to curse on this show. I've been so freewheeling watching these misfits every day. But yeah, they pretty much, he's going to lock down the stars. And same thing with Super Hearts. Just by the time you get ready to become a super broadcaster and you meet all the criteria, they shut your page down.
Right.
So it's ridiculous. So that's why the page, a lot of people, Rich, were asking, as you know, and I was filling you in.
Yeah.
They're like, what happened to that page? I'm like, oh. And then a lot of people like, where are all the videos? Did Twitter mess you up? But no, I was taking them down because if they can't see the video, they can't report it.
Right.
So if there's nothing there, there's nothing to report. So that's how it goes. I've been doing this game for over 4 years. They don't like free speech. That's why they hate that page. They hate our page, Vantage Point. We allow Democrats, liberals, gay, straight, anti-Trump, pro-Trump. As long as you don't make threats, we want debate. I mean, don't you feel, Rich, that's what this country needs? I mean, debate.
Yes, rational debate, smart debate, educated debate. Yeah, that kind of debate. Absolutely. And hello, Gail. Hello, Bugs One. Bobby, how you doing? Yeah, Stone Mountain. So it's a great thing back in the day. Used to compete car audio. Went to Stone Mountain. That place is awesome. Did you see Georgia Stone Mountain today? No cops until after it ended. Lots of fights. Funny.
Yes, I did watch Stone Mountain today. I was going to go live with it, but a lot of people were covering it. So what happened was, they call them the 3 percenters of Georgia. They're like a patriot group, militia group. But of course, just like they label our page as a white supremacist group and, all that, which we are not. We are dead set against racism. Racism is disgusting from all colors it comes from. It's disgusting. It's built out of ignorance. But anyway, they label this group as 3 percenter militia, which I have news for you. All American citizens are the militia.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what the Second Amendment's for. We are to be hold tyrannical governments at bay. So anyway, they're there protecting this Stone Mountain church right there, and the Antifa come. And once again, always, they're the ones who start the violence. They're attacking people with the Confederate flag. Now, whether you like the Confederate flag or not, I really don't care. But it's your right to fly it if you want to.
Right.
That don't give Antifa the right to snatch the flags like they were doing. Beating up old people, bro, like elderly, I don't want to say old, elderly people, and burning their flags, so taking their property.
That's right.
Then they're attacking this guy who's a preacher. And I love Christ and I'm a Christian, but some people get over the top with it, with the microphone and, just nonstop, you're going to hell, but whatever. That is their right. So they're spitting water on this guy because they don't like that he's preaching about Christ. Then they're trying to steal the microphone system, the megaphone, the speaker,
right.
And they start jumping people, Antifa, for the spoken word of Christ. Whether you like it and you think the guy was obnoxious, you don't have no right to beat the hell out of him. It was ridiculous. Now, the 3 percenters, which were armed to the gills, bro, they could have lit that crowd up. And in all fairness, some of the misfits on the other side had some weapons, but not what these guys were carrying.
Right.
But they never unholstered it. They just, did their thing, and then they got out of there. But once again,
of course, that's why they attacked the preacher, because he didn't have a gun. That's why they, yeah.
Yeah. What side is violent that we see
every night,
time?
Every night.
Yep. And it's crazy. No, it's not Jack and Coke, Sandra. It's Captain and Coke. So, and they claim they're anti-fascist, right, Rich? Oh, yes. They're against fascism. Well, fascism, exactly that. Yes. You don't like the spoken word. You don't like the American flag. You don't like the Confederate flag. And we're going to burn it, and we're going to shut you up. That is fascism. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
No, yeah. So I have to go back and watch that. No, I missed it. But have been down there, and to deface that would be, obviously criminal at the least, and a shame. A beautiful, beautiful area. If anybody hasn't been down there, check it out for sure. But
so what's on our list tonight?
Well, let's see. I've got a clip and now people have heard this before. It's nothing new. But I just want to bring it back to the forefront as Alyssa Milano starts shooting off her mouth about her trials and tribulation. Did you know that she had COVID?
No.
Yeah, well, apparently not a lot of other people did. She tested negative at first, but she's coming in, she's talking about it now. How and basically the thing that's really bugged me about it, and why I want to play the Tara Reid thing, because she gives lip service to Tara Reid. Now, keep in mind, I find it funny that Kavanaugh, who was running for a Supreme Court nominee, gets raked over to coals before he's able to acquire that position because of these claims brought by these women. However,
Right.
Joe Biden, who's nothing more than a regular citizen right at the moment, is trying to run as the president of the United States, and these allegations are out there. And where's the outcry from the Me Too crowd, including Alyssa Milano? She's not out there, but I want to play two things. Number one is going to be a quick thing of Tara Reid, just to refresh people's minds, because going into this election, I just want to keep it fresh in people's minds, because going forward, I hope he is held, called to accountability. So I'm going to play that real quick, and so we'll just hear what she has to say, okay?
All right.
And we'll see if it plays it here.
I was wearing like a skirt and like business skirt, but I wasn't wearing stockings. It was kind of a hot day that day, and I was wearing heels. And I remember my legs had been hurting from the marble, of the Capitol, like walking. And I remember that kind of stuff. I remember like that, and it was kind of an unusually warm day. And I remember I was wearing a blouse, and he just had me up against the wall, and the wall was cold. And I remember it happened all at once. The gym bag, I don't know where it went. I handed it to him, it was gone, and then his hands were on me and underneath my clothes. And and then he went down my skirt, but then up inside it, and he penetrated me with his fingers, whatever. And he was kissing me at the same time, and he was saying something to me. He said several things, and I can't remember everything he said. I remember a couple of things. I remember him saying first, before, like as he was doing it, do you want to go somewhere else? And then him saying to me, when I pulled away, he got finished doing what he was doing, and I kind of was pulled back, and he said, come on, man, I heard you liked me.
So that's one of the things. So just let everybody remember that, which, by the way, Jake, I could hear yours playing in the background because you were listening to it. It was playing back over through your mic, so it was double feeding though. But so yeah, let's just remember that going into the election, that allegation is out there and it's never been addressed. He's never been called to accountability for it, and definitely not by the same people who were calling Kavanaugh down and trying to get get him in front of a judiciary hearing. So anyway, just wanted to throw that. The second one is, I got to show you this picture, because this is, hold on, let me pull this one up. So this is Milano right here. This is the picture she's putting out. Now, poor girl on oxygen here, okay? But the funny thing I find about all the talking points that she has are nothing more than anything to incriminate. She says, after living in the last 4 months with lingering symptoms, vertigo, stomach abnormalities, irregular periods, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, zero short-term memory, general malaise. She said, I went and got an antibody test after testing negative for it, and now I found out I'm positive. I just want you to be aware that our testing system is flawed, and we don't know the real numbers. I also want you to know this illness is not a hoax. I thought I was dying. I felt like I was dying. One time when the world was starting to open up, I decided to forego the mask, and I got COVID. And the funny thing is, this is the same girl who was wearing that crocheted mask talking about I had a carbon filter on the side. So anyway, once again, hypocrisy. I'm sure you're going to hear more about her, especially if, for God forbid, Biden wins the election. But yeah.
Oh my God, I really hope not. Didn't you have a picture of that filter mask or whatever she had?
No, I didn't, because I just actually saw that picture as I was thumbing around before the show. But yeah, it's just a open crochet mask. It does not look like there's any filter back behind there, and I can't imagine how thick and cumbersome that would have been as she did. But did she die? No, she did not die, Bobby. That's right. So yeah.
So more the double standard, which we're used to. Like if you see the coverage, with Chameleon Harris, I call her Chameleon Harris, because I mean, other people have nasty nicknames for her. but I just feel like she's a chameleon. She can change into whatever she needs to be.
Right.
Oh, she's the moderate Democrat. They're trying to say, are you kidding me? No, there's a watchdog group that measures that. She's like the most far left candidate they got,
Right.
So the coverage of you would think it was the second coming of Christ, just her and Biden's first, whatever you call it, speech, or
yes.
I don't know what it was called, and they covered it in a full page ad. When Mike Pence was announced that he was going to be vice president, it was this little tiny ad on the front page, on the side. I mean, we all are so used to this, and they're hacking accounts left and right down on Twitter, and we're so used to all this. I really just hope the only way to overrule this is everybody has to bring 3 people to vote with them. And also I have this homework assignment I give people. Try to get somebody that's never voted before. Get them registered and get them to vote. We cannot, especially with this mail-in, mass voting.
Yeah.
Mail-in voting, who knows what's going to come from that.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, Glenn, that is a mishmash of symptoms, and like I said, it checks every box off now. And you talk about what's coming down the line. Let me show you something else that's coming down the line. So I don't know if anybody knows who this is, okay, but this is Robert Smith, probably the richest black man in the world at the moment. He's worth around $5 billion. So this is all what Robert's got to say. And this is the kind of thing that you really, when you talk about getting out to vote, this is the kind of thing that you have to worry about. So Robert says in a video, and this is a video interview with Reuters, he says, and now this guy is the CEO of Vista Private Equities. Like I said, he's worth around $5 billion. He says that companies that profited from the transatlantic slave trade should consider making reparations to African Americans. Now, the thing that really got me or struck a chord, because you can say that's fine, Robert. But the thing is, he said, I think that's going to be a political decision that's going to have to be made and decided upon. So in the first sentence, you said that they should consider making reparations to African Americans, as if they're saying, if you are a company that was around back in the day, your company's still around, you made money off it, you should consider it. But then he says, no, in the next sentence, you need to this is something that will probably have to be legislated. Okay. He says, and one of the things I find funny about this guy's worth $5 billion. So maybe he should pay somebody, because he's now in America through the slave trade, and he's made $5 billion and has plenty of money to, so anyway, I don't know. But he also says that he was pushing U.S. lawmakers to make more aid available to black communities. The average small business has 2 months of working capital, whereas black businesses have just 2 weeks, he said. Now, I don't know what that proves. If other companies, I wouldn't even have said that. That's business management. If you only have 2 weeks, you're either in the wrong business or you're not handling your cash flow. But either way, he says, Smith said employees of companies are also going to hold the leaders of those companies accountable to do something about it. We have a chance for systematic change. What does he want done? How many people? This kind of thing is the guy's out of his mind. I don't know how somebody in that position actually, but this is us sitting here as rational people say, this is stupid. You're going to go after companies that were around during slave trade and punish them now and make them pay reparations?
It's ridiculous, bro.
But us sitting here as normal, sane people think that. But if this next regime comes in, all of a sudden, this actually gains traction. They actually start talking about it because that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, but will they really though, Rich? Or they just say that to get the votes? Because like every 4 years, this is definitely the year of the panda. For those that watch the Chinese calendar, this is the year of the panda, and I'm not talking about the animal. They are just pandering like crazy. You got sports teams pandering to this whole Black Lives Matter movement. Once again, I'm totally against racism, but I'm definitely against Black Lives Matter organization. In my opinion, they're a racist against white terrorist organization funded by Marxists. So this is the year of panda. So you really think they're going to go with that stuff? Or are they just pandering for votes like they always do every year?
You know what? If it does gain traction and you have the leaders of the country talking about, hey, that makes sense in some way, shape, or form, then all of a sudden you get people boycotting companies, all that.
Well, they do that already.
You're right, and it gains traction, and you get an ear in Congress that wasn't there before. I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know why the guy would say it, but he says it, and the legislative part of it is what scares me. You can ask these companies to pay reparations. If they want to do it, that's up to them. You're punishing your stockholders. You're going to end up punishing your employees because you're taking capital out of the company. But if you want to do it, he should start doing it. I don't, so because he benefited from the slave trade because he's got $5 billion. So he should be the first one to pay reparations to black people because he made money. So.
Well, they're not even waiting on that. Apparently, all the looting in Chicago is exactly that. It's reparations. If you listen to the idiot that leads the Black Lives Matter Chicago thing, that's just people trying to get food and trying to get clothes. And even if that was a problem, then it's just reparations. So they're even starting to justify looting now. I mean, it is out of control. You got to be crazy to open up a business in these Democrat cities,
yes,
and then get trash like that, and then go back and open them again. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these people.
Yeah, well, Janet Mack just posted something, so we're gonna jump to another thing and we were gonna save this for a little further down the road, but since she brought it up here, we'll go ahead and let's see. So because she's talking about the Jamaica thing, so now we're talking about Kamala Harris and whether or not she's even eligible to run as vice president.
The Bertha movement.
Yeah. So, but here's a different take on it. So, Chapman University constitutional law professor John Eastman, I assume he knows something about the law and the Constitution, did an op-ed piece in Newsweek analyzing Kamala Harris's eligibility to become the vice president, okay? Since her parents may or may not have been U.S. citizens when she was born. That should not be hard to find out. There shouldn't be a lot of debate about that. That should be fairly easy to find out. He says Harris's father and mother were born outside the United States in Jamaica and India, respectively. Neither was a naturalized citizen at the time of Harris's birth in Oakland, California. However, Easterman explained that the important question is whether Harris's parents were lawful permanent residents at the time of her birth. He says, I'm not challenging the fact that she was born in Oakland. He specifically says that she was. And then the Heritage Foundation senior legal fellow, Hans von, I can't pronounce his name, addressed this ongoing debate. He says the 14th Amendment, now this is constitution, this has nothing to do, this is straight up constitutional stuff. 14th Amendment doesn't say that all persons born in the U.S. are citizens. That's why people are under a false impression that if you're an illegal alien here and you give birth on American soil, your kid's automatically an American citizen. That's not the case. That'd be the same as if you were a tourist in the United States and gave birth on American soil, that your kid's going to have, it says, but let me finish what it says.
They do that in Florida. This is like the place to come for that.
Yeah, it was
tourist birth or whatever. It's a big business.
Right. It says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. That second critical conditional phrase is conveniently ignored or it's misinterpreted by advocates of birthright citizenship. Critics erroneously believe that anyone present in the United States has subjected himself to the jurisdiction of the United States, which would extend citizenship to the children of tourists, diplomats, and illegal aliens alike. However, he argued, it is just plain wrong to claim that children born of parents temporarily in the country as students or tourists are automatically U.S. citizens. They do not meet the 14th Amendment jurisdictional allegiance obligations. So anyway, that's what the debate is. Now we could talk about she married her brother, whatever you want to talk about there, but the main thing is going to be whether or not her
parents. You're talking about Ilhan Omar?
That kind of thing.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We are simply talking about were her parents, okay, citizens of the United States when they were here. So that's what it's about.
And in my opinion, I'd rather just kick their butt the old-fashioned way, and then they can work that out whether she even has the right to run. I'd rather just wipe them off, the ballot box.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be hilarious if she actually got in the position and then it was found out she couldn't be there. I don't know what you would do at that point. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because Janet had mentioned it up in the chat, and so I figured I'd skip to that one right there. And then we'll go with this one next.
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Okay, so that's the little thing. I don't know if you heard in the news here lately, Google Home smart speakers were listening to everything you were saying, even when they were turned off. Did you know about that?
No, and I would never have one.
I would never have one either. Honest to God, why anybody would have one, I don't know. But apparently, there was an update, quote, update, that mistakenly turned on all these systems. And the way it was found out is this guy he was cooking his dinner. He had a smoke alarm going off. And then he got a notification on his phone that the smoke detector had gone off, even though he had not said any of the words to turn on. And then they found out, and it cascaded. Now they found out that this had been going on for a while. Now, obviously, as a weapon against the citizens of the United States, and people say, well, if you're not talking about anything in your home, that's bad. Are you kidding me? Those people drive me crazy. They could pinpoint you for political affiliations, for anything that you talk about.
Absolutely. Right. I hate that. If you're not doing anything wrong, what are you worried about? But real quick, I have a policy in my home. Nothing smart in my home, including me. So.
Yeah. So, and it's not the first time that has happened too. They said, and some of this stuff that was done back in 2019 was actually sent to actual living people to listen to. So now they're talking about how much data was collected. What did they find out about you? Everybody talks about the pop-up. So anyway, you
already know everything. You just search one thing. If you search one thing, one item, you go on Facebook or wherever, next thing you know, you got ads for everything. You know what I mean?
And you do. I totally agree with that. But that's stuff that you're taking a calculated risk with. Right. You know that you're on your browser, that you're going there, they're tracking it, even if you got everything turned off, you're on your VPN, they still, they're still tracking you. But this here is something different. As a matter of fact, there was the other one, Nest. I think it was, hold on, I got notification. What was the other one that was there? Also doing this. Facebook's Portal was doing this. But anyway, when they were talked about, they just basically told people, hey, look in the privacy agreement. It says in there, wow. It says it warns buried deep in the support page, can incorrectly record their users even when they haven't first said an activating wake phrase like, hey, Google. So they are even telling you, hey, in that privacy thing that no one ever reads, because no one ever reads it, that it says there, hey, this might get accidentally turned on and may start recording you. So, okay.
Yeah, and you just turned on probably about 400 people's Google when you said, hey, Google.
Yeah.
One guy, I think it was Glenn from New York City Guns. He kept saying, hey, Alexa. And everybody's like, stop. You keep turning my thing on.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And the other thing, too, is that obviously no one here in this show listening right now is surprised that this is actually happening. Okay. No. But if that's the case, then why don't we force legislation that it can't happen? If no one is surprised that it's happening, right, why don't we force the issue of it so that it cannot be done?
You can say that with so many things. If nobody's surprised that conservatives are being shut down, and why don't we have legislation? And that's the problem, Rich. Shows like this and many other great shows that inform people and you'll never see on mainstream media. Basically, now we're getting a couple of people to come in, but they're mostly trolls. And I even invite them to debate here in chat, and they come in with the ACAB, all cops, or what, and they don't want to debate. And we're reaching like ourselves because they keep shutting down. I remember when I first started, man, you used to get trolls like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
People with different opinions coming in like crazy. Now they hardly do because they just have us talking to each other. And the couple that do stray in are nasty.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, where's the legislation from that? But I'm not big on government solving problems, but I do know that these social media platforms say they're a platform, and you know more about that.
Well, yeah, and I totally agree with you. I'm not about, the government solving all our problems, but we don't have the money, the resources, or the technology to go against big tech big tech has a tendency to lean towards the liberal side, so you have to assume that they're not going to be on our. Hey, I'm just trying to be judicious, but so so you have to assume that they're going to be against us. So yes, you do have to have help if you're the little guy, and get and so. Let's cover that. Which, by the way, Della had talked about the fact that she thought it was voice recognition. No, it's just the key words. I always mess with people when I walk into their house and I see they have one. I always activate it. Right. All you have to do is say the words.
Well, you're supposed to. Oh, so you don't have to say hey, whatever.
Well, no, they
change it. Like you'd say, hey, Farfignugan, and then it'll come on. So nobody could trigger it by accident.
Yeah. Okay. And so I want to share this because this is why we want somebody like Trump. And if you like to drain the swamp thing, there's a homage to that in the outro that everybody should stay around and watch at least once. But anyway, so the TVA, I'm sure you heard about the TVA, what went on with that.
Federal government.
Hold on. So here's
a very simple rule: hire American. We've been doing it at a level that hasn't been done maybe ever. I'll also be taking firm disciplinary action against the leadership of the Tennessee Valley Authority, which has sadly and cruelly betrayed American workers. Recently, the CEO of the Tennessee Valley Authority, Jeffrey Liash, made a disastrous and heartless decision. The TVA announced that it would lay off over 200 American workers and replace them with cheaper foreign workers brought in from overseas. The Tennessee Valley Authority leadership then ordered the American workers to train their foreign replacements, rubbing salt in their very open wounds. But that's why I'm formally removing the chairman of the board, James Thompson, and board member Richard Howarth. If the TVA does not move swiftly to reverse their decision to rehire their workers, then more board members will be removed. We have the absolute right to remove board members, and the board makes the decision. I don't make the decision. I saw there was an ad on television talking about the amount of money that the chairman makes, and it's a ridiculous amount of money. But we have the right to replace the board, and the board is the only ones that get the right to then hire a new person. Furthermore, the board must immediately hire that new CEO who puts the interest of American workers first.
All right, so I'll go ahead and cut that off now. But so that's why the drain the swamp thing is so important. This was amazing. This dude, Leasham or whatever, Liash, I think his name was, $8 million is what this guy was making for running the Tennessee Valley Authority. The highest paid government employee in anywhere in the world of any government was this dude. He came from Toronto, running some power company up there. He was making $1.5 million a year up there. Arguably, the job should pay $600,000. It's apparently not that hard a job, and this is like a chairman's position anyway. This guy comes, and his buyout package, because there was different compensation levels. If he stayed 5 years, he got 15 years worth of retirement benefits from the government. I think his exit package was worth $12.8 million. And he was going to fire all these people at the TVA, bring in out-of-country employees to do it. The TVA they couldn't fight the guy, so they took it to Trump. Trump fires the guy on camera, and while they're still having the press briefing, he gets handed a note. It's really cute. You ought to check it out. He gets handed a note and says that this guy, Liash, just sent him a memo saying that he was willing to walk back the policy that he was about to implement, and said, basically, can I have my job back? And so Trump said, yeah, so he's showing a willingness, and hopefully he's going to have a willingness to take a pay cut. Yeah. Wow. So how did exactly. That's Della, exactly right. How did his pay get to be that high? Realizing FDR's dreams. That's right, Glenn. So crazy stuff. So this
Corruption, that's how.
And this is what we need another 4 years. We need another 4 years of, because you got to figure this guy's got to be fairly well connected to even get the job, to command this kind of salary from these people, and you got to have somebody that has no allegiance to these people and is willing to fire them publicly as a warning to other, government entities, so that everybody's on their best behavior. So you're not going to get that with Biden. Sure as heck aren't going to get it with Kamala Harris. So just wanted to throw that out there too.
Yeah. Speaking of cutting salaries, meanwhile, you tried to cut the salary of Chief Best, the black woman who is the chief of police in Seattle, and she's like, "No, thank you, I'm done. I can't do this."
Right.
But you're going to cut her salary, and it's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much. So you just got to
Biden and Kamala Harris. I call it Biden Harris, like as in
Biden Harris. Yeah.
Creepy, man. He will bite the hell out of that girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's a child. That's on. Is that me?
That's you. The battery going dead?
The battery is dead. Keep talking. I can change this out. I can make this better.
All right, go ahead and change it out. For those who are just joining, welcome. My name is Jake. That's Rich. This is Vantage Point. But on Periscope, we are Total News Network. As you've been watching, I've been filming and streaming live for pretty much every night, as much as possible, showing the March of the Misfits in Portland and Seattle and everywhere else. So we're asking people that are watching on Periscope, please go to Vantage Point USA on YouTube and subscribe. That's the page we were streaming a lot of the protests on. That's the page Rich and I do together. We come on camera once a week and talk about current events like this. Eventually, we are going to there's Rich. I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully this doesn't turn into an X-rated film here. All right. He's back. That's one we do go on camera once a week, and we talk about current events. We are going to try to set up a Zoom thing. I know we keep saying that where people will call in real quick.
I'm back. Am I back? Can you see me?
Yes.
All right.
You're back. Thank you for all the prayers. For those who are brand new, this might seem weird to talk about. For those that have been praying for me, yes, I did have a spot on my face they found. It was basal cell cancer. They did a surgery called Mohs surgery. Took me a little bit to heal. I'm still healing. I will zoom in. It's pretty nasty. But doctor said, I just went yesterday. Doctor said it's healing good, on time, should be okay in like 6 years. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully better than that. But, this is me. It's getting better. Appreciate it. Just make sure, please, guys, go to Vantage Point USA on YouTube and subscribe. Love you guys too, man. You guys pulled me through the hard times, and Rich is always there for me, man.
That's right. Man. Which, by the way, I didn't forget to pay the bill. I'd like to point out that he kept me waiting an hour, and I forgot this camera had been idling an hour prior to that. So, yes, sorry about that. Yeah,
I had to move to a different location and set up, and then
the bunker.
And then I had to go to the liquor store.
That's funny. All right, so I only got we could go all night, I'm sure, but I only got one more thing. I feel fairly vindicated on this. The U.S. Department of Justice announced Thursday that Yale University legally discriminated against white and Asian American applicants in its undergraduate admissions process, thus violating Civil Rights Act of 1964. I love the fact they said whites and Asians. It concluded that a great majority of white and Asian American applicants have a 1/10 to 1/4 chance of admission compared to African Americans who have the same or similar qualifications. He said, therefore, the Department of Justice said race is a determinant factor in hundreds of admissions decisions each year. The only reason I felt vindicated because we talked about the number. If you go back a couple shows, we covered that as far as the admissions and how high the Asian woman had to have an SAT score before she would be admitted into doctorate programs and postgraduate programs. So yes, I am happy that they came out with it. So yeah, there you go.
So Rachel Maga has been with me a long time. Just said that Trump's brother died.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I'm finding that out too. So prayers to the Trump family, man.
Yeah.
Said, I don't know what he died from. I'm sure the Democrats are wishing he died from COVID so they could say, oh, his own brother died from it. They're just sick people. but
Yeah.
we'll just stick with may he rest in peace, and prayers for the Trump family.
That's right.
Stay strong. Stay strong.
That's right. So that's all I got. What you got? Anything else?
No, that was it. Just been covering, like I said, all the craziness and the chaos, and the video that I had put up of little Cannon, the 5-year-old that was shot by the black
Wow,
guy. That will
powerful.
never make-
Powerful.
Yeah, that will never make the mainstream news. Cash Kelly on Facebook, search Cash Kelly. I grabbed his video and put it out there, and on YouTube it's really hitting home with people. I don't care about the numbers. It's more important that people see what's going on coming from a person of color. You know what I mean? Saying
Right.
what we've been saying. There's a narrative they're trying to push. It's a false narrative. Where is the wall-to-wall coverage for this little 5-year-old?
That's right.
Every life matters. It's crazy. And
Yeah, which
so many comments under that video. People are really touched by that.
yeah, and the other point he brings up, he said, this was a grown black man basically executed a 5-year-old. Does that make all black men evil? No. This was an evil bastard that did what he did, and so it's not a representation of an entire race. So yeah, but yeah, it is a shame.
Rachel said Steve foaming from the mouth with the agenda full TV
Free.
I think she's saying that
Agenda free TV.
We don't call it agenda free. We call it agenda full.
Oh,
He claims he has no agenda. The dude hates Trump. He's totally got an agenda, and he foams from the mouth when he gets mad. Plus his mods, dude. He's got I don't think we have any mods actually. I really don't. He has 50 mods, and if you don't know what mods are, they're moderators in chat, and they will block you.
okay.
His are out of control, bro. Talk about anti-free speech. If you type in caps, if you go off subject, if you make jokes, I mean, he literally blocks people for typing in caps.
That's funny.
I mean, talk about anti-free speech.
I'm not even logged in. I couldn't block somebody if I had to right now.
Right. I mean, I think I had mods when I first started, back in the day, but
Right.
I don't have any. Maybe one. I think Glaze is my only mod on Periscope
He's a good one.
for this page. Yeah, because mods have to be as tolerant as I am. You know what I mean? Some people want to kick these people to the curb. I know Rich is laughing because Rich is actually way more tolerant than me. But they will block some people. Some mods will block people if they're like F Trump. I won't block you for saying that. I'll block you if you threaten somebody or you're a disgusting racist.
Right.
He was like a crackhead, just like the one who was a neighbor who murdered my.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, sorry to hear that. Yeah.
I know. I hear some terrible stories. Kim, who's a dispatcher, sends me some stories. Man, this world's crazy. But make no mistake, this is a very small percentage. There's a small percentage of these people that are out there rioting and looting and stuff.
Mhm.
The mainstream media want you to think that
It's everybody.
we're a divided nation with racism, and this is Trump's America. That's their agenda. Most people are really good people, would help their neighbor, and they're loving and they're giving, and and that's the way it should be. So we're here to break the narrative.
Yeah. So Glaze said the check is late again. Glaze, does it do any good? The only thing it does is help build your eye-hand coordination, trying to catch that bouncing thing all the way down the street.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. So.
Well, Glaze helps keep the drama people away from me.
Yeah.
He's like the buffer. So he keeps them busy over there. There's this whole group of people that they just sit there and fight with each other. And they'll show screenshots or film other people's periscopes, and they just fight with each other. They're always popping up on my feed too, and I block as many as I can. And I don't know, they're just this whole group that fight with each other. And kind of Glaze tries to be the referee, poor Glaze, and he gets attacked by everybody.
That's
so he's kind of like the buffer, and nobody ever comes after me because they're too busy fighting with Glaze. So thank you, Glaze, for keeping them lunatics away from me. I appreciate it.
Good deal. And yeah, glad she's in heaven there, Rachel. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. So let's see. What do you think? Next week we coming back? What are we doing?
Yeah. Next week. It took me a while to get back on camera, obviously. I'm still not healed, but whatever. I mean, I'm not shallow too much. You know what I mean? So I'm just glad to be back and glad to be here with my boy Rich and see everybody. We definitely need to work on the Zoom thing. I know people are reaching out to me. on Twitter. So send us a message on Vantage Point USA on Twitter. If you want to be on camera and you want to discuss some current events, and eventually we'll definitely get that going because we need to.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to technologically make it happen smoothly and tied in with OBS and all that without the screens jumping around. Because the problem is every time the boxes are going to change, and I'm bad enough at this, as you could tell from Battery Boy here.
That was the first. You never had the battery die, and that's all on me. I mean, what time did we go late? Like 11?
I don't know. I was there at 8:30 talking about, you ready to go? You're like, oh yeah, I'll give you a call at 9:30. We're back. Okay, we're here.
Yeah. So everybody that knows me personally, and everybody that's been following me, I'll always say, all right, so I'll come on tonight, or I'll probably come on tonight, or I'll see you tomorrow, which they know means we may never see him again.
Yeah,
we'll see him like 5 hours from now.
So basically what you're saying is the show is a moving target, which is all important about the alerts, so you find out when it finally goes off.
Yes. Rich is very big on that. Make sure it's true. Even on Twitter now, you can put an alerts on so you don't miss a tweet. But definitely on YouTube, there's a little bell. A lot of people don't know. There's a little bell. You click on that. This way you know that we're live. And you know, one good thing about when they don't know we're coming on, it's hard for them to mass report it because we don't have a set time like some people, you know.
Right.
They'll be sitting there waiting. Oh, I can't wait to mass report this page. We'll say, you know, we always say around 9:30 because that leaves us leeway like for a day or two. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. All right. So we're going to try the outro. We're going to see if it works. It's a little bit over a minute long. There is a cartoon at the end for all those people who actually wait to get to it. So we're going to see how it goes. Jay Gladgerface is doing better to everybody that came on tonight. Really appreciate that. And yeah.
Well, I'm just glad I'm healthy and I beat it. And I'm glad they got it in time and forget, appearances and looks. And I actually tweeted out something today. If you're reading this tweet, then 2020 wasn't that bad. Be thankful.
That's true.
Live,
Absolutely.
love, laugh. # live, love, laugh. But on another note, Rich worked pretty hard on this thing.
No, not
he didn't
well.
go to college for the graphics, but he did work hard on it. So I hope you guys enjoy the outro. It's I like it. It's definitely funny.
Yeah, it's
definitely stick around for the end. So.
Definitely elementary, but anyway, it's fun. Check it out, and you could have been anywhere. You chose to be here. We do appreciate it. We don't take it for granted because time's valuable, and everybody's got a life to live. So we thank you for sharing some of it with us. And Jake, always a pleasure being with you. We'll be catching up here, I'm sure, in just a little bit. But you take care as well, okay?
All right.
Good luck with this. See if it works.